Good afternoon and welcome back to Hunter Ice Skating Stadium on what we call land DeFris semi-final 2 between South Australia and Western Australia. We've already had semi-final 1 between New South Wales and Victoria. I'm Eric Brook and alongside me Rob Dushman. Rob, having fun?
I'm having a blast. Good afternoon everyone, and second place WA, the home side, plays third place South Australia.
So let's have a brief look, Rob, at how they got here. The last time that these two teams met on Friday, which seems like such a long time ago, it was a 2-0 win for Western Australia on Friday. And by the way, on YouTube, that's our most popular game so far. And we've had, in general, over 18,500 views on YouTube already. And then on Saturday, there was an 11-2 win against Queensland. A shootout loss to Victoria on Sunday. A loss to New South Wales. They're not Robin Caruso there on Sunday, and a 10-0 win against the ACT on Monday. Having a look at South Australia, of course they lost to Western Australia on Friday. They had a 5-1 loss to New South Wales on Saturday, a 10-2 win against ACT on Sunday, a 7-1 win to Queensland on Monday, and this morning they shut out Victoria 5-0.
A very interesting matchup, Eric, and you went through the records. It's these two teams have been a little bit, I won't say inconsistent, just the results have been just, you try to predict results and which team is going well, and at times both of these teams have looked like world beaters, and then at other times they kind of dropped off a bit so far through 4 days. But that invariably happens in these tournaments. You can't play at the top of your game 100% every minute of every game. So this will be a great battle. I expect certainly a closer match than the 1v4 game that we just watched.
Absolutely. Having a look at the goaltending situation for Western Australia, who are on screen at the moment, they have a choice between Henry Gallagher and Madeline Reid. Madeline Reid was just taking some shots there at the end of warm-up. And for South Australia, Riley Knapp and Billy Drew is the E-Bug, emergency backup goaltender.
Yeah, we know who's starting for South Australia. It's Riley Knapp, and shout out to Billy Drew. She's been here every day filling the E-Bug role, as some of these teams are only traveling with one goalie, and it's fantastic that she's come out and given up her time just on the off chance of an injury that, if she's needed, she'll be ready to go.
And she did play a full game for the ACT as well, which was really good yesterday.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that.
No, what actually happened, Rob, quick story. Their goalie, Arvase, left their pants back at the hotel. New pants were required. Not ideal, but the situation was doable. Then during warm-up, took a puck to the head, broke the helmet, and so E-Bug Drew was called into action for the entire game.
Well, that's great news. No, like I said, I wasn't here during that time period, so I didn't know that happened, and that's awesome. She got some game time. She's a Newcastle girl and a very good goalie in her own right. So
there's a fair bit on Billy's CV now on that game on YouTube.
Yeah, it's good for her, like I said.
She played really well.
Let's turn our attention to this one. I think there's a lot of people obviously just hanging out for this opening face-off, and Madeline Reid gets the start for WA. I can confirm that. And referee Jeff Scott's ready to get us underway.
Oh, the noise from the South Australian bench. It sounds like there's a thunderstorm. Back now, Mickey Noddle for South Australia, the captain. It'll come back now for Williams. Williams in Zamboni corner. Pressure there by Hanson. Left for Carroll for Western Australia. Back now for Easton Shearer. One of the best names in junior hockey, by the way, Easton Shearer. Comes all the way back for Susha. Losing possession. Mickey Noddle again's been busy for South Australia this whole tournament. Back now for Carroll near the penalty boxes. Western Australia, I'm expecting lots of backwards and forwards hockey. Williams straight up the right-hand side. It was a nice pass. It's back for Hong. Gets pressured there, 2-on-1 situation. Here comes South Australia on the counter-attack via Gagnon. The only player up there has some support now. Gets sent wide into Zamboni corner. And Western Australia managed to clean up against the boards. Gagnon falls. Heavy contact up against the boards. Puck needs to continue to move. Gagnon with a good shot, and a good shot, and then a secondary shot there. Couple of shots on Reed early.
Yeah, and that's a perfectly executed forecheck by South Australia. Good start for them. First man takes the body, second man gets the puck. The puck ended up back out to the front on Gagnon's stick. He had a good shot, and Madeline Reed up to the task there. No rebound either, which is great for her.
So Eleanor Barter now walking the blue line, gets poke checked by Horako. Coming back now, Barter. Horako with it now. Horako walks in. Great save there by Riley Knapp. The puck's free in the favour of South Australia, trying to clear their defensive zone. The intensity, Rob, compared to the earlier games is amazing. We've got crowd, we've got music, and we've got two good teams here in semi-final 2 as they try and clear it out the left-hand side. Bit of a linesman sandwich over there on the far side. Here comes South Australia now, backhanded shovel. They'll come off. Will register as a shot. Madeline Reed just deflects it wide. Up against the boards on the half wall. Reinforcements arriving for both teams. Out of the zone. Mickey Noddle. South Australia have to clear the zone. They do. It'll come back now for Kenzel. Kenzel clears it out towards the left-hand side. Out of the zone. Opportunity now for Hart. Hart now has got no support. Gets sent wide by Noddle. Hart comes in for round 2. Centering, trying to find Benetti, who's been dangerous. Carroll out of the zone, back to neutral ice we go. Benetti going for a skate down the left side. Oh, Mickey Noddle's been fantastic, does a pirouette, tries to clear out into neutral ice, all the way back down, and that Rob will come back for icing with 12:26 remaining in the first.
Frantic start to this game, Eric, and both goalies called upon early to make some big saves. We're only 3 minutes in, but the intensity in this game is off the chart.
So Easton Shearer will take the attacking zone face-off for Western Australia up against Zach Hannon. Attacking zone face-off for Western Australia out of the zone. So South Australia with a bit of property advantage into the zone. Susha just happy to dump it in. Back for Mickey Noddle. I swear that Mickey Noddle's been out there the entire game so far, Rob. That's exactly what it seems like. And back now for Western Australia. Getting sent wide is Hung. Getting around Weegun. Heavy contact into the corner. Reinforcements arrive. Kalol from the top of the umbrella shoots, goes wide. No action required. Chases his own rebound. Trying to centre. Doesn't get very far. Cleared out into neutral ice. And South Australia partial line change. Oh, here was a turnover opportunity. It was recovered in the end by Western Australia, and it'll come back now. Mickey Noddle again. I was about to say, the Noddle boat's coming back into the harbour. Is that his first change? I think he's been out there the whole time, Rob.
I think it's pretty close, and you can see Coach Stu Henley showing his hand a bit there. Look, it's do or die, Eric. It's do or die.
Absolutely.
So you go with your strength, and you got to balance fatigue, though. It's a long game.
Well kept into the zone, and say it with me, Rob. It's a long tournament.
It's a long tournament, long game, and you need to have something left for tomorrow, too.
Here comes Salmon now. Salmon centering. Oh, great opportunity and a good shot there from Lim. High Crow centering. Cafe corner. Just trying to clear it out, South Australia. And they do. Back in towards neutral ice. Just happy to dump it in. The South Australians there. Vitrus. They clear it out. High Crow. Almost turned over straight away to Gagnon. Zamboni corner. Frantic 4 minutes of action. Not the best delivery. Turnover to Fode. Big ricochet. That could have been very, very bad for Western Australia. Back now in some traffic. Noddle, who's come on. He probably had 5-second break. Standing up and delivering that one was Reed. Receiving the shot for Western Australia. Still on the attack, Noddle. Benetti forces them wide. Counter-attack opportunity not present. South Australia still on the attack. Still in the defensive zone of Western Australia. Fode dumps it in towards corporate corner, giving Gagnon at least a chance to change. Good work, Kenzel. Easton Shearer clears it out near the door of doom. Kept in the zone there by Noddle. It'll come back now for Western Australia, right-hand side. They go straight up the middle, trying to connect with Hart, and that should, I would have thought, was initially heading for icing, and then it took a turn. Back now up against the boards near the South Australia bench. And just the noise in here, the two benches, the crowd. You know, a lot of people at this age group might not have even played in front of this many people, Rob.
Yeah, it's a big crowd, and look, long passage without a stoppage again.
So back in towards neutral ice, back into the defensive zone for South Australia. Mickey Noddle, touch 575, enters the zone, just happy to dump it in. He'll probably come off for 5 seconds and come back on. Back now for Easton Shearer behind his own net. 8:55 remaining in the first. Looks towards the right-hand side, has some support in Williams in corporate corner. Susha out of the zone anyway. Janowski was paying him some good attention. Back for Carroll. Carroll with it. Got deflected on the way through. Opportunity there, and a great shot there by Hudson Els, and a good save by Madeline Reid.
Yeah, Hudson Els in front. That puck just kind of deflected out from the sidewall right on his stick there in the slot, and he one-timed it, and Madeline Reid with the save. She had to be on her toes there.
So both teams probably going to have to watch their breakouts. Back near for Hong. Hong fires a miscue. Got a stick on the way as it was leaving the stick. Susha can't keep it in the zone. Back towards neutral ice. Easton Shearer with it. Back now for Kenzel. Back for Hong. Entering the zone. Leaving it behind him, Susha. Hong able to get it. In a way, it sort of looked like a delayed drop pass. Easton Shearer in the slot. Still on the attack here. Kenzel firing. Just got the skates there of Hansen. Bit of pushy shovey between Kenson and Kenzel. Cross ice pass was way too strong. I think he threw himself into the boards there, Braga. Lucky the South Australian player had moved. There's a hit, and that'll go straight towards the penalty box. Bit of pushy shovey. The officials have got it, guys. Settle down. It's a long game.
Yeah, that was a little bit in the back there from Gagnon, the bigger player. Luckily the WA player had a bit of time to protect himself, and let's see what the call is here.
That was boarding.
Called boarding by referee Jeff Scott. So
on up.
2-minute power play to Western Australia.
So an attacking zone face-off at the start of the power play coming up for Western Australia. And we'll do that one again. Highcrow against Fode. Attacking zone face-off and start of the power play for Western Australia. Haven't heard the cowbells, Rob, but they will come from the Western Australian crowd.
It's not a hockey game without a cowbell.
Absolutely. Back now. It'll come back now for Reid. No action required. No icing on the penalty kill. Western Australia on the power play for the next minute 47. Right-hand side. Entering the zone, trying to fire. Got a good shot on in the end through traffic through Hong. Cafe corner. Rob recommends the jelly beans.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend the jelly beans. Flung out of the zone there by Janowski. That'll come back into Zamboni corner. Carroll. Partial line change for Western Australia. And that'll come back now for Els. On the attack, Western Australia, give and go. Salmon there, had no swimming room. It was a good attempt with the to and fro between Susha and Salmon. Lee Gunn gets shown the ice. Back for Kenzel, 55 seconds of the power play remaining. Desperation in defence there by Hansen. Cleared out by South Australia, and that will come back all the way back down. No icing on the penalty kill. Line change for Western Australia. Finding Scrow with it now. Got options. Salmon, right-hand side, entering the zone. Attacking the net was Benetti. Doesn't get that far. South Australia's been good. 20 seconds of the power play remaining. Janowski clears it out. Will come off for a change. One thing, Rob, keep an eye on South Australia. Sometimes they change 5 people at a time, which can be interesting. Back now for Western Australia. Susha got thrown off the puck. 5 seconds of the power play remaining. And that'll come all the way back down. Back into neutral ice. Flung in by Barter. Here's Benetti. Benetti now fires, and a good save there by Knapp. Deflected into the corner, and we have another whistle.
And good save by Riley Knapp, and a great penalty kill by South Australia. They've obviously practiced their special teams a lot. They're well disciplined there. As soon as the puck hit the tape, it was down the ice, and if you force the opposition to go 200 feet or 60 meters, seems to be a bit of a running joke, you're going to have a lot more success with your penalty kills. So great job for them.
You'll notice too, Rob, I like my running jokes. Back now, firing from distance. It was a good shot from Braga. There was lots of traffic in the slot, and who knows where that puck goes as Janowski tries to clear it out despite the attention of Lim. The power play is over, the 5-on-5 hockey, but for how long? That's not the last one, I dare say. Pycro trying to enter the zone, but can't. It was good work there by Els. Els coming back now, and it's back for Janowski. Pressured there by Salmon. Salmon back in towards neutral ice. Here's Lim. Lim finding Shearer. Shearer got a good shot on it. It was a big thud into the pads of Knapp. And it'll come back. Another partial line change underway for Victoria as Hong comes onto the ice. Pressure up against the backboard. South Australia need to get the puck out of there. They do. Finding Hanson. Cross ice pass. Intended target was off target. Truss was coming off for a change anyway. Centering pass. Hanson. Back with it. Susha. Corral. It was Hong rather. As Easton Shearer comes off for a change. Here's Mickey Noddle, the captain of South Australia, crossing all the lines, flinging it in, dumping it in, trying to chase. Back now with Fode, who's been dangerous. Gagnon with it as well. Kept in the zone by South Australia on the left-hand side. 4 minutes remaining in the period. Still 0-0 in the slot. Cleared out Western Australia. Back now for Hong, just happy to dump it in and think about coming off for a line change. Cafe corner. C. Back now for Fode for South Australia. Fode clearing it out. That'll come all the way back now for Kenzel. Kenzel with it now. A cross-ice pass for Hart. Hart on the left-hand side, centering, but only found the skates there of Fode as he was coming off for a change. Back now for Janowski. Clearing it out on the right-hand side. Almost a turnover there. Battling there is Hart. In front was Z. Couldn't connect. Williams. 3:10 remaining in the period. Big rebound. Almost kept in the zone, but he knocked it out himself, Williams. South Australia applying the pressure under Hannon. Hannon with it now. Hannon fires slightly wide there of Reed. Back for Benetti. He's got a little bit of room about Holmes' ball. That will come back now for Mickey Noddle. Noddle changing the angle of attack. South Australia trying to clear it out of their defensive end without turning it over to Western Australia. Too late. Shot goes wide. No action required there by Knapp. Up against the half boards. Here's Salmon. Salmon swims in, fires. Nice 5-hole attempt, but also a nice save by Knapp with 2:31 remaining.
Yeah, good save by Knapp. Out of his crease and right on that angle. Colby Salmon found himself alone coming out of the corner there and just really untouched driving to the net.
He's very good driving at the net.
Yeah, he's very good, and I think he'd like to have the shot back. He kind of put it right into the breadbasket there when possibly could have gone high or tried 5-hole, but he's very dangerous player.
South Australia trying to clear it out of their defensive zone down the right-hand side. Western Australia doing a good job of hemming them down here. Here's Carroll, loses possession. South Australia looking to clear it out. Cross-ice pass, slightly outstretched. Here's an opportunity for South Australia, but Western Australia back there in defence. Only one South Australian player down there, monstered. It was good work there by Truss. Corporate corner, reinforcements have arrived for South Australia. Fode kept in the zone. Left-hand circle, Fode again. Fode walks in. Nice 5-hole attempt, but a great save there by Madeline Reid.
And Fode out of the corner, much like Salmon at the other end, a bit of a toe drag and beat the WA defenseman. Ended up on his backhand, unfortunately. Only a weak shot and easily handled by Madeline Reid.
Attacking zone face-off coming up for South Australia, minute 45 in the period. Shots fairly even. The score certainly even, no goal yet. Here's pressure now, here's a breakaway opportunity. He's got Hong has called for it. Hong couldn't take advantage because the delivery was slightly off target. Kept in the zone. The puck balloons out back into neutral ice. Easton Shearer, the skipper of Western Australia. I found out yesterday that some people don't understand what skipper means because I didn't say captain. Back now for Hong. Hong centering. It was Gavin Thurston's son, by the way. It was interesting.
Oh, well, there you go.
Back now for Williams, left-hand side. Williams did a good job of keeping it in. Cross-ice pass. Bit strong for Kenzel. Kenzel recovering. Centering pass. And that'll come back for Z behind the net. There is 1 minute remaining in the period. Good shot, saved. Cleared out by Gagnon. Opportunity for Fode. Just happy to dump it in and come off for a change at the feet of Williams in the end. Almost a complete line change at the same time for South Australia. That can be dangerous depending on when they do it on the move. That's the thing, Rob, with not many whistles sometimes. Yeah,
they're playing with fire there a little bit, Eric, and WA could exploit that up the right-hand side with a long pass. We'll watch that for the rest of the game for sure.
I know they did a lot in that last game this morning. Back now for Carroll, 20 seconds remaining in the period. Cleared out, back in towards neutral ice. Barter, Hanson, Zamboni corner. Cleared out by Carroll. Carroll trying to clear it out. Somebody's stick goes flying. South Australia player without a stick. Hudson Els goes back to return it. And that, Rob, at the end of the first period, no scoring on the board.
Very entertaining period that was, Eric. Look, back and forth, and shots are 7-6, probably pretty reflective of the play, and both coaches will be pretty happy with how that first 15 minutes went.
So having a look now at the Western Australia bench, we had a brief look at the South Australian bench a little bit earlier on. Nothing really, as you mentioned, Rob, for either coach to be overly concerned about at this point. They've both had good tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's going to be much adjustment to be made. I mean, WA are going to continue to use their speed and probably make use of some long stretch passes. And we have to keep an eye on that top line of Easton Shearer, Suture, and Huang. They're super fast, and they're going to try to run and gun here. A lot of their offense runs through that line. And as for South Australia, look, they're very strong at the back end, and they're forechecking well, and they're obviously well structured, well drilled, and you can see that line change that they do. They just all come off. They're so disciplined and get fresh legs on, and just keep doing that over and over. And you point out Mickey Noddle, a lot of their offense and defense runs through him.
So 15 minutes remaining on the clock. Final moments of the first intermission. A longer ice cut between the second and the third. 1-2-3 West. I did mention on the broadcast yesterday afternoon, I'd like some other names rather than Western Australia, South Australia sort of thing. It's like an Australian thing of something like a mascot. They do it a lot in cricket, for instance. So in cricket terms, it would be the Western Australia Sandgropers against the South Australian Crow Eaters, or more recently the Redbacks.
Yeah, right. So more nicknames and less states. Is that what you're suggesting?
Oh, they'll still have the states,
yeah.
But it gives us an alternative and a little bit more marketable as well. Back now that I'm trying to finish solving the hockey world's problems. Not that it's a problem. It's just an interesting thing that you pick up from other sports.
Yeah,
and that will come back for icing.
There's a couple of things there. Look, if that's all we have to worry about, then we're in good shape.
Oh, absolutely.
First thing, and second thing, look, I can tell you, these kids, this is a highlight for some of them of their hockey careers, playing for the state. I think think they actually like saying the state in
Yeah.
their cheers. So,
and I've noticed that there's some kids who will only play, for instance, for Newcastle, where we are now, and they love that. And then some kids are able to go up to the next level, the state level, and then those kids who make the national level, not everyone can make it to the national level. So you're right, Rob. This is a highlight for many of them, just hanging out, playing so much hockey in such a short period of time. And back now, South Australia on the attack. Henley in front. It was a close opportunity. I think there's going to be a penalty coming, and I think it is going to be for the retaliatory action there of Jack Fade with the slash of the stick out of the hand.
yeah, I think you're right, Eric. Number 12, Fode is heading to the box, and Western Australia is going to go on the power play here, 14:25 into the second period.
Amateur referee Brooke called it a slash. It was called interference, but that's fine. It was the same result. 2 minutes in the box. I think that was fair. Attacking zone face-off and a power play coming up for Western Australia. Western Australia now on the power plays. Here's Hung. Hung now firing. Saved there by Knapp. Kept in the zone by Western Australia by Carroll. Left-hand side. Janowski should be able to clear it out well and does a good job of clearing it out. Janowski's been really good, Rob, clearing it out of the zone on a penalty kill situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, they're very well drilled on their special teams and their systems.
Here comes Z now, entering the zone, getting around Wiegland, entering the zone, getting sent wide. Back now Z, they need somebody in front of the net. They have Hung. Heiko injects themselves. Back now for Easton Shearer, cross-ice pass. Left-hand side, firing from distance, wide. Easton Shearer keeping the zone right near his own bench. And that will come all the way back for Hong. 65 seconds on the power play for South Australia, Western Australia rather. Up near the door of doom, South Australia should be able to clear it out, and they do. It was well cleared out of the zone by Hannon before coming off for a change. And even at this age, Rob, being able to clear, give yourself a change, that's an important thing that you don't necessarily need your coach to tell you about. As that shot goes wide, attempted shot anyway, firing it wide at Highcrow. 37 seconds remaining of the player. Kenzel, little bit more luck. It was a good attempt in front by Susha. Had the stick there, didn't miss the stick by much. Firing again from distance, and Knapp this time holds there. Sabin was swimming in the general direction.
You love that one, Eric.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a bit of a long-range shot there from the WA defenseman. Looked like Control let that one go, and easily handled from Knapp. They could do with a screen and get some of those big bodies in front of Knapp. He's going to stop what he sees, so we'll keep an eye on that. 24 seconds left in the power play here.
Back now, Madeline Reid hasn't had much to do for the moment. Western Australia, Kenzel trying to clear it out, turns it over for Hansen. Reinforcements arrive in the form of Benetti, just trying to clear it out back into neutral ice now. Here comes Salmon. Salmon skates in on the right hand side, looking for some support. South Australia should be able to clear it out. Kept in the zone by Kenzel. Power play over. Shot from distance was good, and that's what we're talking about, Rob. Getting bodies there in front.
Yeah, absolutely, Eric. It's exactly what I noted on the last shot from the point there, and just the Western Australia wingers just off to the posts, right, and hanging out back door there on that shot, and one of them has to try to get in Knapp's way, just square up in front, and prevent him from seeing that puck, because he's a very good goalie, so he's going to stop those all day from the point.
Attacking zone face-up coming up for Western Australia. 12:21 on the big clock. 0-all the score still. Feels like there's been a lot more than a couple of minutes of play.
Yeah, just have a short delay here. There's a bit of a discrepancy on the overhead clock and the end zone clocks that referee Jeff Scott's sorting out and providing the very clear explanation, I'm sure, to each bench.
12:21 remaining in the second period. Still 0-all. Wiegand looking to clear it out the right-hand side. Finds Janowski. Janowski back to Wiegand. Kept in the zone. And on the attack, Western Australia. They need somebody in front of the net now. Here's distance from Braga. Puck behind the net. Lots of players in a small opportunity. Cleared out as if they're on the penalty kill. They're not. It'll come back now, just settling the puck down, Madeline Reid. Here's an opportunity for Scrow to stretch their legs. Heavy contact up against the boards. There's an arm in the air. Penalty box door.
Be interference on Braga, I think, Eric.
Boarding the call.
Boarding or interference. Did you see the signal?
Yeah, boarding.
Boarding. So either way, I mean, the puck had traveled a little bit ahead and towards the net. It was a little bit late. Jeff Scott could take his choice there, and he chose boarding. Either way, 2-minute minor and a good call. And WA get their first opportunity on the power play, I believe.
South
Australia
yes.
on that one.
Attacking zone face-off coming up, just making some adjustments to the netting at the nap end. It's very entertaining spending some time with Jeff Scott at the referees course in the off-season.
Okay.
Very highly experienced official.
He is probably the most experienced official in the country right now, and he does a great job. He makes himself available for these national championships, which is great. And yeah, shout out to all the officials that are here for, a lot of them giving up work for 10 days to be here for the full time. So, we've got some very, very strong officials here from around the country.
So here's Fode now, speaking of someone who's strong. Back now for Mickey Noddle, who's equally strong. Janowski up against Kenzel, up against the boards. Still on the power play for the next 90 seconds for the first time this game, South Australia. That'll come back now and just settled down again by Knapp. Knapp leaves it for Noddle. Pressured there by Shearer. Right-hand side, South Australia. Now they go north-south rather than east-west. Back for Janowski. Good work, Kenzel. Kenzel just flinging it out. No icing on the penalty kill. 65 seconds remaining of the power play. Throwing the body there was Noddle. Up against the boards. Eating valuable seconds. Western Australia looking to go on the attack. South Australia are there in numbers there. Janowski has got Els on the right-hand side. Goes away from Els. Comes in. Janowski fires. Goes high, which is not a skill that everyone has. South Australia setting up. Still 40 seconds of the power play remaining. Now they can spend some time down here possibly. High Crow battling up against Gagnon. Cafe corner. Spitting out of the hit. That was Fode. Fode with it now. Looking to centre. Carroll trying to walk in. Janowski on the left-hand side. Western Australia trying to clear it out. Hong should be able to control it, but he can't. Here's Fode centering. Mickey Noddle fires, goes aerial, goes high, power play goal, breaking the deadlock, South Australia.
Mickey Noddle with the high shot from the point. I don't think Madeline Reid actually saw that. There could have been a bit of a screen there. Let's have a look at the replay. And that's just, failed clearing attempt by WA. The puck just ended up back on Noddle's stick, and Madeline Reid had a pretty good view of it, but traffic in front certainly caused a bit of chaos. Two South Australia wingers in front there. Possible distractions. So the end result is South Australia take the lead here and break the scoreless deadlock.
There was a fair bit, certainly was a power play goal. Lots of traffic on King William Street. Across the face, South Australia trying to get it out of their defensive end. Sometimes you score, I score. South Australia certainly don't want that with 9:25 remaining in the second. Entering the zone now, shooting from distance. It was a good shot from Lim.
Yeah, you can see Western Australia have come back right off the opening face-off. They're a little grumpy about that, and they've got a lot of jump, and I think SA is going to have a bit of a storm to weather here.
Attacking zone face-off coming up for Western Australia. So Els glides into the face-off dot against Salmon. I had Salmon versus Parrot yesterday.
Ah, there you go. You probably come up with a couple of cliches for that one, huh?
I was trying to be behaved, but yes, I did. Centering pass back into neutral ice. It'll come back for Scrooge. It's got Kenzel for company. Left-hand side, centering by Western Australia into Zamboni corner. Zamboni out in 9 minutes. Z with it now. Big change from South Australia, for Western Australia rather. Getting forced wide. Hannon up against the boards. I think South Australia were trying to change at the same time as the puck was there. Henley, cross-ice pass for Spencer Holmes' ball. Thrown in, back for Carroll. Carroll with it now, right-hand side, and Western Australia look to clear it out near the South Australian bench. All these benches keep on moving, Rob, so every now and again I have to reorientate myself. Western Australia, back now for Salmon. Salmon in some traffic, getting sent wide by Hannon. Kept in the zone well by Western Australia. Hart flubs on the spot, on the shot, and out of the zone, Carroll. That will come back now for Western Australia to set up and try again. 8:10 remaining in the second. In some traffic, Hart. Clearing it out, Janowski. Finding Fode. Fode now in some traffic. Fode getting sent wide by Shearer. Fode recovering. Fode, cafe corner, finds some support on the left-hand side by Barter. Up against the boards in cafe corner. South Australia have got one player in front. Wouldn't mind another couple. It's Gagnon on the left-hand side, right near the bench. Noddle firing from distance. It sort of flooded in the air and then dropped. Back for Fode. Fode right-hand side. Noddle at the top of the umbrella. And it will come back for South Australia. Need somebody in front of the net now. There's an opportunity on Main Street for Noddle, who injected himself. Opportunity taken, South Australia, 2-0.
South Australia with the second goal here, and let's see if we can get the goal scorer. It's usually the first one through the handshake line, and in this case it's Fode, and I think he just stepped out from that post. I think that net got a bit dislodged, and Madeline Reid kind of tried to put the net back on, and
timeout Western Australia.
What happened there, but yeah, she just was off her post a little bit and gave Fode just enough room
so timeout.
To sneak that puck back, and yeah, WA are using their timeout.
So put your coach's hat on, please, Rob. As the Western Australian coach, what are you saying? Are you just trying to break the momentum at this point?
Absolutely. This is just a strategic timeout to break momentum. Just like you said, Eric, 100%. They're rattled now. You know, it's been 2 very quick goals. You know, and that last one, that could rattle that team. And you know, you got to get them back on track and focused. They're certainly not out of the game. They're out shooting SA, and it's only halfway through the game. So that's a really good use of a timeout here for a coach, because you don't want to give up the third one. You need to get the second. You need to get your first one before you give up the third one, and that's good proactive coaching from Western Australia.
So in this situation, Rob, you don't really want to wait. If you're trying to break the momentum, you don't want to wait for the Zamboni break for another 7.25 minutes.
No. Look, it's you know, it's a must-win game, and you can't take your timeouts home with you. And you know, if you need to use one halfway through the game to help give your team a chance to come back from this, then that's when you do it. And yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't wait for the long break to change the momentum.
Shearer fires behind their own net. Hong now looking to get out of their defensive zone. Hong now has some support from Shearer briefly. Cleared out by Henley. Back into neutral ice. It'll come back now for Kenzel. Kenzel has some support on the left-hand side. That'll come all the way back down for Janowski. Janowski almost was a risky clearance. Took the best option in the end. Off the skates of Truss. Guarded there by Susha. Truss gets a better of that one. Past the door of doom. Into neutral ice. Truss doing well and dumping it off and coming off for a change. And of course, Rob, the infamous last change, which is an interesting one.
Yeah, the long change?
The long change, yeah.
The long change, that's right. We can talk about that on the break.
Back now, Wiegand battling against Susha. Susha just happy to dump it in. Lynn coming on now for Western Australia. Battle up against the scoreboard. Salmon involved. Wiegand and one other holding in. Some reinforcements arriving, including Spencer Ball, who got the dregs out of that one. High Crow kept in the zone by Scrow. Pressured there by Hannon. Scrow gets a good backhanded shovel in. It'll come back out for Lim, who was having a battle of his own with Noddle. Kept in the zone by Scrow. Fires just kept it in the zone as it turned out. Back now for Wiegand. 5:40 remaining in the second. Shot fired. Play continues. It is 2-0 to South Australia. Scrow firing from distance, but slightly wide. Western Australia all attacking since the timeout. And it's left now for Mickey Noddle to clear it out for South Australia. Off to stick a Scrow. Line change. All pretty much, there was 3 of them at the same time. That one wasn't too bad. Fode has to get around Wiegand. Centering pass. South Australia on the right-hand side now. High Crow getting sent back. Around one. Firing high. Could have bobbled in as a balloon in the air. Opportunity's not lost. The opportunity's still there. Gagnon going for a couple, and the South Australians here, the Western Australians, didn't like that.
Yeah, Madeline Reed's glove came off and all that, and look, cooler heads are going to prevail here, and well controlled by Jeff Scott. I don't think there's going to be any calls out of this. Just a bit of, defending your goalie, and South Australia did the right thing and backed right off there in the end. And look, Eric, you mentioned the long change, and something that WA could really exploit here. They South Australia just tend to dump the puck in, and if you get a chance up that far side, they do have a long way to come from their defending zone to make these line changes. So I'm going to attack up the left side and leave someone high up on the blue line to try to exploit that.
So back there, Kenzel showing the wall. Reinforcements arrive. Jack Fode for South Australia. Couple of South Australians down there. Back in towards neutral ice now with 4:35 remaining. It'll come back now for Henley. For Trouse with it. Trouse with it centering. Z. Back now, despite the attentions of Fode. It will come back now for Henley. Henley now with the puck. Finds Truce. Back for Williams. Williams fires, and a nice save there by Knapp.
WA getting some pucks on net, but just not creating some really good scoring opportunities. I think a lot of their attack is just one player in, and instead of 3 coming in as a cohesive unit and trying to move Knapp, because he's going to stop these shots from the perimeter all day.
So attacking zone face-off coming up for Western Australia will be taken by Easton to the left-hand or glove side of Riley Knapp. Play continues under some traffic. Hung looks to fire anyway. It's got Carroll in support. Zamboni corner. Zamboni out in 4:05. Carroll, narrow right-hand corridor they're looking at. South Australia trying to clear it out via Ells. Truss comes in to lend a hand, as does Noddle. Out of the zone now. So back there. Western Australia coming back via Braga. The very narrow corridor on the near side that they're using at the moment. Noddle electing to go back, opening up the ice. Right-hand side now for South Australia. Entering the zone. Just trying to get in the general vicinity of the net at the moment with 3:30 remaining. Western Australia, nice pass for Susha. Susha, but an equally nice one by Janowski to get possession of the puck back for South Australia. Battle in the corner at Zamboni corner. Centering, South Australia just need to get the puck out of there. They do now, back into neutral ice. It's Kenzel who's been busy. They had to watch the offside. Victoria almost turning it over there is Barter. Out of the zone by South Australia, back into neutral ice. Carroll, that will come back now for Kenzel. The South Australian boats have been called back into the harbour. Left-hand side, pressure in neutral ice. Entering the zone, Western Australia now. Firing High Crow. And a good save. What you were saying before, yeah, it's good to get a good shot, Rob, on, but there was nobody in front.
Yeah, no one in front, and Rico there, top shot on net, but his two wingers were actually behind him. So WA just have to figure out how to create some time and space and movement for themselves. And I think possibly instead of going hell-bent for leather, the first player with the puck at the net, maybe some delaying on the wall or something, and try to attack with 3 or 4, because that's what it's going to take to beat Nap, I think.
South Australia forcing Western Australia out. It'll come back towards neutral ice. South Australia with it now. Henley, left-hand side. A little bit of pressure there by Benetti, and that'll come all the way back down for Williams. Williams now up against the boards. Reinforcements arrive, including Z, who almost delivered a nice hit. Back towards Z again. Here's Truss in some traffic. The soccer skills by Scrow because they'd lost their stick, recovering. There are 2 minutes remaining in the second period. Now South Australia coming back in towards neutral ice. Braga was there at a good time for Western Australia, and it will come all the way back down for Wiegland. So some guidance about the line changes from the Western Australia bench. Just dumped in despite the attentions of Easton Shearer. Coming back now, Braga up against the boards. Hung now with it. Left-hand side with an opportunity. Electing to go straighten up the attack. Heading towards the right-hand side. Trying to get a shot on. Fode was applying some pressure. South Australia need to clear it out. Keeping it in the zone is Hung. Did well despite the attention of Els. Out of the zone. Easton Shearer now back with it. Back in neutral ice. There is 1 minute remaining in the second period. Back now for Susha. Susha fires but sprays it wide. Janowski off the backboards, trying to clear it out. Near the door of doom. Counter-attack opportunity for South Australia. Just happy to fling it in as the boats again come back in and out of the harbour. 43 seconds remaining in the period. Western Australia trying to keep it out. In the corner near skate higher. 2-0 to South Australia. Noddle turning and chasing. Captain on captain. Shearer on Noddle. Noddle getting the better one of that one. 23 seconds remaining in the period. South Australia trying to get it straight up the middle. Carroll for Western Australia. Centre ice. 14 seconds remaining in the period. Heavy contact up against the boards near the South Australian bench. Hannon, big don't argue from Kenzel. And it'll come back now for Carroll with 3 seconds remaining. Just clear it out in a free ice, and that's exactly what happens. So Team Zebra coming in to avert any heat in the building. And at the end of a highly entertaining second period, Rob, 2-0 in favour of South Australia.
Highly entertaining. This has been an incredible game so far, Eric, and I think both these teams are probably just hanging out for the intermission here. They'll go in and take on some water, have a bit of a rest, and take on some instruction from their coaching, I think, and I'm looking forward to the third period.
So we'll go through the goal scorers in just a moment. As we keep on pointing out, it's a long time. You play your first period, you got a short gap, then you got the second period. So you're really holding out now for this long break. Yes, Western Australia did have their timeout, which sort of broke things up a little bit. Western Australia, Rob, they seem to have played better after the timeout.
Yeah, definitely. The timeout was effective. It did swing the momentum, and I talked about it quite a bit during the timeout, so I won't mention it much more. But you have to do what you have to do as a coach, and at that point, halfway through the game, if you need to take that timeout, you don't have it anymore. But you're also possibly at the risk of going down 3-0, and maybe beyond if you don't use it. So, yeah, it definitely worked.
There was no scoring in the first period. Both goals in the second period to South Australia. Mickey Noddle, his fourth for the tournament, assisted by Els and Molcheska. And then Jack Fode, his fifth for the tournament, assisted by Molcheska and Gagnon. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes for the resumption of play. South Australia 2, Western Australia 0. Back in about 10 minutes. See you soon. Welcome back to Hunter Ice Skating Stadium, and the noise underneath this is amazing.
Yeah, we're about to get off to the third period start. 15 minutes to decide who goes on to play New South Wales in the final.
Heads up, the Western Australian bench. Gallagher didn't make the save, the backup goalie on the bench, just let the puck fall to the ground. So neutral zone face-off closest to the Western Australia bench. 2-0 the score in the favour of South Australia. South Australia keep it in the zone via Noddle. Flinging it in. It'll come back now, South Australia trying to keep themselves down here. Carroll has something to say about that. Should be able to try and clear it out. L's paying some attention. Hand delivered though to Truss. Centering, couldn't connect. It's back now for Western Australia. Susha getting forced wide by Janowski. Janowski coming back and winning that battle overall.
Yeah, Janowski's been very solid the whole game.
Ice is slippery. And that'll come back down. Western Australia now via Kenzel. Finds Hart. Hart gets forced wide. Hart now looking to come across. Leaves the puck behind. It's back now for Fode. Fode on the right-hand side for Western Australia. Cross ice pass that could have been very risky, Rob, trying to clear it out in front of the net. South Australia taking their time via Noddle to clear it out. Tapped on. Here's an opportunity now for Fode. Fode getting forced wide by Hong. Great desperation there. Save there by Madeline Reid. And a good save there. And a good shot there by Fode.
Madeline Reid. I have no idea how that puck got through the WA defense there, but it did. I think Fode might have been the most surprised person in the rink that it ended up on his stick, but Madeline Reid flashing the leather. Bails her team out. Holds the score at 2-0, and a fantastic save for her.
Attacking zone face-off coming up to South Australia, to the left-hand or glove side of Reid. Western Australia near the door of doom. We'll come back now for South Australia. Off the stick. Coming in now is Fode again. Fode walks in, fires and scores. And that, Rob, is 3-0.
Yeah, Fode gets another chance right away. Cutting across the top from right to left and shoots back the other way. Caught Madeline Reid going to her right, and the puck actually went back to the left glove side on the ice. So SA gets that key third goal before WA are able to respond with one of their own. 3-0 with 13:18 left.
So while I was trying to get up to the central commentary position, I was with the Western Australian players. There was a message loud and clear on the bench saying that you're very quiet, the bench is very quiet, you need to make some noise, communicate while you're on the bench, and that message is even more important now that there's an extra goal on the boards.
Yeah, absolutely, Eric.
Back now, it'll come all the way back down for Williams. And that'll come back, Janowski battling. Good position there against Carroll on the boards. Cross ice pass. Works out in the favour of Lim. Lim off the goal frame. Has no support. Went through the slot. Kept in the zone just by Kenzel, who's just happy to smash it in. Susha comes on. Couple of air swings, Janowski. Left-hand side. Past the stick of Susha. Susha now pressured there by Hannon. It's got Kenzel for company. Right-hand side. 12:15 remaining. Flung in from distance. No action required in the end. South Australia, Janowski. Back in towards neutral ice is Truss. Entering the zone, just dumping it in. Has no support. Hanson. Easton Shearer. And out back in towards neutral ice. Mickey Noddle again. Near the penalty boxes, just flung in by Hudson Ells. And that will go all the way back down behind the net of Madeline Reid. Kept in the zone via Noddles and Boney corner. Back now for Easton. Easton now They're trying to get it out. High Crows, centering pass, could have been dangerous. Turnover is dangerous, but another turnover for High Crows, so they recover Western Australia. It's a 1-on-2 situation. Some support arrives now in the form of Hart amongst others. Out of the zone, Western Australia have to retreat. Right-hand side, 11:15 remaining. Back now for Hart, entering the zone, splitting the gap between Els and one other. Off the skates there of Hansen. Here's Noddle. Noddle happy to dump it in and probably have 2.5 milliseconds of rest. And that will come out for Western Australia on their right-hand side. Back in the neutral ice. Here's Hart. Hart enters the zone now. Getting sent wide. Up against the board. Janowski in good position. Trying to clear it out. South Australia. Left-hand side. They do. They're on the attack. Entering the zone. Here's Fode. Pocket pick by Salmon. Fode again. Reinforcements arriving, including Salmon. Salmon in good position now. Salmon's off and racing. Salmon crosses all the lines. Tries to shoot but can't. Good work, Janowski. Clearing it out is Fode, and we have a whistle.
Yeah, this defence pairing of...
I thought I heard a whistle, and then play just stopped, and then it started again.
I thought I heard a whistle too. I started talking. I'll let you keep going. Must have been something from the stands, Eric.
Oh, I hope not. Back now, everybody stopped, including us. Back now for Benetti. And even the executive producer stopped because we thought we all heard a whistle. That was very strange. Back now for Kenzel. Kenzel clears it out via the backdoor escape route. Finds Williams. Right-hand side. Back now for Noddle. Probably a bit more than 2.4 milliseconds that he had off. Time and motion study with a stopwatch would be interesting on Noddle. Turnover now. Here's an opportunity. Here's Jensen, but coming back Williams. Walking in, firing Hansen rather. Good work there by Hansen. Excellent save by Reid. The pressure's not over yet. Western Australia try and clear the zone, but they can't. Here's Hannon. Hannon walks in, fires high, almost deflected in. The puck was free briefly. I think that hit the face mask, Rob.
Yeah, up high anyway, Eric. If it didn't hit the face mask, up high in the shoulder. And Madeline Reid right now just holding WA in it with two big saves and covering up the rebound, allowing her team to get some fresh legs on here. And look, 9:06 left, and South Australia are just pouring it on. They're chipping pucks out, chipping pucks in, forechecking, and they're making it almost impossible for WA to get anything going here.
Attacking zone face off for South Australia. Western Australia trying to clear it out. We know who was in the first half of the gold medal game, but we don't know who the opposition is just yet. Not prepared to put the exclamation point on it just yet.
No, definitely not. Back
now for Carroll. Carroll battling to get out of the defensive zone in Zamboni corner. That could have been a cross-check or a board or something, but play continues. Susha in the slot, clearing it out for Western Australia. Looking across all the lines. In front, Henley. And it was a good save there under some pressure by Knapp.
There's nothing developing there. That's just...
talking about what they're going to get up to later at the hotel, maybe.
Suture just going hard to the net, and that's what he's supposed to do. If there's a loose puck there, a rebound, he's got to go hard there. And Janowski's job is to prevent it from happening, which he did as well. And that's just good hard play. And as soon as the whistle went, they all stopped, and that's what you want to see.
It's funny though when some leagues you see that situation, then it blows up into World War III over nothing.
Yeah, it can happen, can't it?
Oh, it can.
Can and does.
Can and does. And I'm sure you've been on both sides of it, Rob.
I've been on the, probably the receiving end more often than not.
Oh, the receiving end. Okay, that's interesting. Shot fired, but doesn't make it through to Knapp.
I spent a lot of time in front of the net when I played, so you got to take the good with the bad in there.
Back now for Noddle. The puck skips on Wieland a little bit up against the boards. He certainly played at a lot higher level than I have. Almost out of play at the South Australia bench. It'll come back now for Kenzel. Kenzel's got Scrow for company, uses Scrow, but has Trust providing the forechecking pressure. Back now for Salmon. They just need to clear it out. Getting it off the skates there certainly helped the skates of Hannon. Wigan back now for Mickey Noddle. Kenzel's been impressive for Western Australia. Back into neutral ice. Hannon entering the zone. Salmon, speaking of impressive, drop pass. Puck balloons high. Back now for Noddle. Noddle with it. Janowski in towards the corner there of Skate Higher. Back now for Hung. 7:14 remaining, and the Mountain is getting that little bit taller for Victoria. Captain Obvious trip there.
They're going to be aided by a power play here.
They certainly are. That was a trip every day of the week and twice on Tuesdays.
And so that's on Mojasek for South Australia, number 25, tripping. And WA get their chance here. And look, they really need to get something going and try to develop some sort of cohesive attack here. And I'd be looking to work my defense in here on the attack. And I mean, you have to roll the dice at this point with 7 minutes left. You need a goal right now to break the momentum and bring yourselves within 2 to give yourself a chance in the last sort of 5 minutes here.
It's really in the balance at this point to which road Western Australia, which game they're going to be in. Back now, Reed deflected, back for Carroll. Carroll pressured by Gagnon. Carroll getting the better of that one. On the power play, Western Australia, they're at the wrong end now. They're in the neutral ice. Getting sent wide long, but back now for Mickey Noddle. Noddle with it now, showing excellent skills all the way back down. The South Australian fans really appreciative of that one, Rob.
And they've got reinforcements. The South Australia Ginsburg team have entered the rink. They've made their way to Newcastle for the next 4 days, and they're going nuts down there at that.
Still a long tournament, Rob. Back for Hung. Hung tries to fire, tries to get close to the net, but can't. Hung recovering. Cafe corner. South Australia look to clear it out. Minute 5 of the Western Australia power play remaining. Cleared out, no icing on the penalty kill. And it's left for Easton Shearer. I didn't say Easton Shearer left the puck behind him, but he recovered. Back now into neutral ice. Barter. Benetti now. Benetti getting forced wide. The puck balloons back into neutral ice. Scrow having to come back. 40 seconds of the power play. And Scrow's got Kenzel for company, Susha as well, and Benetti. Finds Benetti at the Zamboni door. Back now for Fode. Bad turnover. Into the corner. Fode's the only one there for the moment. Fode against Salmon. Almost cleared out. Susha kept in the zone by Henley. Up against the boards. Coming back and eating valuable seconds off the Western Australia power play, because Western Australia are at the wrong end of the wrong end of the scoreboard. Here's Benetti now. Benetti getting forced wide. Play continues. Mickey Noddle. And we have a whistle in the corner. There's a penalty coming, elbowing the call, and Susha heads to the penalty box.
Yeah, and he's going right to the penalty box. I didn't see it, but he obviously knows that there was a bit of a questionable contact there. Referee Jeff Scott with the elbowing signal.
1 second of 4-on-4, Rob.
1 second of 4-on-4, and South Australia off to the power play after that with 5 minutes and 4 seconds left.
So basically enough time for the puck to come out of the official's hand into midair. The penalty box door is about to open. So a power play coming up for South Australia. Penalty box door is opening. Shearer. So still on the power. So on the power play now, South Australia. Western Australia trying to clear it out. Williams back into neutral ice. Here's Janowski up against Hung for Noddle. 4:40 remaining on the big clock. Minute 36 on the small clock in the favour of the South Australian power play. Gagnon there. Tapped on there by Els. Williams, Zamboni corner. 4.5 minutes remaining. Western Australia all the way back down. No icing on the penalty kill. It'll be left there for Knapp. Knapp, Noddle for Gagnon. Circling around. They can really afford to at this point, Rob.
Absolutely. Eric, you know, it's the time's ticking off the clock here. 1 minute left in their power play, and It's going to be very difficult for Western Australia here.
Up against the boards. Fode, Gagnon, Carroll clearing it out. Shearer, Carroll, Gagnon. Up against the backboards. Western Australia trying to clear it out. Zamboni corner, past the stick of Gagnon. Carroll in good position. 30 seconds of the power play remaining for South Australia. They're at the wrong end. At this point, the situation's well and truly under control. Probably don't even need an insurance call at this stage.
Now they'll be looking to just get pucks into the attacking zone at this point, Eric. Get it out of their zone, and all they have to do is kill 3 minutes here to move on.
Back now, just settled down there by Knapp. High Crow there on the attack. South Australia would really love it. Back to 5-on-5 as Western Australia back to full strength.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the goalie here and see if Madeline Reid makes a move to come to the bench for the extra attacker. It's 3-0 with 2:50 left, and it'll be interesting to see if WA roll the dice here to try to get a goal, try to claw their way back in here with 2:43 left.
So would Coach Douchman do that at the moment?
Absolutely. As soon as that puck crosses the line right now, my goalie's out.
Stro. So would Dawn pull the goal in this situation?
Probably not.
Probably not. Hannon. Oh, that hits Grow. Quite high on the helmet. 2:25 remaining. Here's an opportunity. Oh, heavy contact. There's a penalty coming on the play. We'll wait for the actual call. Charging the call. Penalty box door will be opening with 2:16 on the big clock, 2 minutes on the small clock, and a power play for Western Australia. So now, Rob, you have to.
WA get their chance. Look, I should clarify the remarks. Dawn would be pulling her goalie, probably not as early as me, though. And I'm just looking here, and with the power play, 2:16 left. There's no move for the extra attacker here, so WA choosing not to do it.
Are they too far back, Rob?
Oh, look, Eric, it's a game to go to the gold medal in a national championship. So I'm not going to question the tactics of another coach. But all I can say is if it's me in there, I'm playing. I'm coaching, absolutely using everything at my disposal here to try to get a goal, try to get a couple.
So I've had that conversation with all 12K or 11K commentators this hockey season. Back now. The final 2 minutes of play, 1:45 on the big clock, minute 25 on the small clock. Carroll, left-hand side, Western Australia now, centering pass. Easton Shearer tries to get around one. Barter comes down in front of the net, back for Carroll. Carroll off the stick of Fode on the way through. Easton Shearer. A bit of sword play in front with Z and also Barter. Get in the zone by Western Australia. 58 seconds remaining on the power play. Opportunity, Western Australia coming back. South Australia just happy to smash it out there. Janowski. There is 1 minute remaining in the third period. Back now for Carroll. Back pass beats Kenzel. Flung back into the zone by Hansen. It'll come back to Zamboni corner. Clearing it out, Western Australia. So, Rob, it's fair to say that the gold medal game has been set.
I think at this point, Eric, it is. It's highly unlikely that 3 goals are going to be scored now.
So back now for Susha, 29 seconds remaining. Western Australia certainly won't die wondering. Power play just about over, game just about over, and South Australia are about to head to the gold medal game in the DeFris tournament for 2024, where they'll face New South Wales for the gold medal. Kenzel up against the boards, the crowd counting it down. Stand by for the celebrations at the South Australian net end. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that is game, and a shutout in the semi-final for Riley Knapp.
And look, Eric, this has been an incredible game and an incredible performance by South Australia. WA didn't have a bad game at all. They worked hard, they played hard, they had lots of chances, but no fault of their own and really no fault of their structure and their coaching. They just were not allowed to get anything going by this South Australia team. Just well drilled, excellent systems, well coached, and tenacious kids. Credit to them, they just didn't allow it to happen for WA.
So speaking of tenacious, it's good to see E-Bug there, Billy Drew, coming out onto the ice to celebrate with South Australia.
Billy Drew is out there, and I guess she'll be dressed for the gold medal match as well. So a great game overall. Congratulations to the teams. And WA, they've got to regroup for a bronze tomorrow. Bronze medal game against...
It's certainly a good battle here. So we'll go through the games coming up shortly. But we'll just run through the goal scorers in the end. Only one goal added in the third and final period. Noddle and Fode in the second. And coming up soon will be the third goal scorer. Shots on goal ended up favouring South Australia 18-17, so very close in that regard. Fode picked up their second of the game, assisted by Gagnon and Hannon. So in this game, a 3-0 lead to South Australia.
Yeah, it's Victoria. I had a mind blank. I've been up since I was on microphone at 6 a.m. this morning, so forgive me. I lost my train of thought. It's Victoria and WA in the bronze medal match tomorrow.
And I was listening to you on microphone at 6 o'clock this morning. Stick taps all around.
Yeah, it's an acknowledgement to the crowd. WA always travel with such a huge group of supporters, and they're appreciative of the effort. The kids will get over this, and hockey will be on again tomorrow. SA celebrating with their fans, and they'll go home and get some rest and prepare for a big match tomorrow and try to figure out how they can do the same against New South Wales tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you as always for your company, Rob. Zamboni on the ice. A short break and we'll come back for the Boxall semi-finals. Eric Brook, Rob Dushman, and on behalf of the whole Thought Fox Media crew, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the action. Semi-final 2, South Australia 3, WA 0. See you next time. Bye-bye for now.